Good evening, Merry Christmas, and welcome to another episode of the Shotcallers. This is episode 2, December 25th, 2020. And I have with me two special guests that have been sort of clamoring to come on this podcast for a very long time.
Yeah.
On my video left, we've got Kyle Flick. Say what's up to the people, Kyle.
What's up? What's going on, guys?
And then bottom center, we've got Robin Sahoda. Say what's up to the people, Robin.
What's up, people?
And so we have a full slate of NBA action. We got the Mavericks in action, the Lakers in action, the Bucks, the Warriors, Pelicans, Heat, Clippers, Nuggets, and the Celtics and the Nets. But before we get started on going in depth on each of those games and what you guys thought were the most interesting, I wanted the people to know what you liked the most about the NBA or when you guys became fans, or just give us a little bit of backstory about you guys. Kyle, go ahead and go first.
Yeah, I got into the NBA around 2011, which was when I was in seventh grade. I joined my middle school basketball team, and that was the year Derrick Rose won MVP and the Dallas Mavericks won their first championship.
Some terrific timing
So,
there, Kyle.
yeah. And obviously I'm in the Dallas area, so they're my favorite team. Derrick Rose is my favorite player. That's also when Carmelo was doing really well on the Knicks. I think he just moved over, and he's also one of my favorite players of all time. So uh, that's when I got into the NBA. What about you, Robin?
So for me, it's been really, no matter what I'm going through in life, good or bad, I feel like basketball's always there. Kind of like an escape from your real life. You just watch so many different teams play. Um, First, it was really Kobe. Kobe made me play for high school and middle school, but I always loved Dirk. And then watching it in 2011, I felt like was kind of crazy to me how he kind of wanted on his own in a way, other than other people who joined other teams. So it's kind of just stuck around and been my favorite sport to watch.
Yeah, man, I can definitely relate to that. And I remember, even way back then, when it was like 2007, 2008, after the Mavericks lost in 2006, and just being literally
Yeah.
playing pickup basketball in the street with my friend Nelson. I was like, Nelson, how awesome would it be if the Mavericks won a championship? It didn't seem possible,
Hmm.
like, whatsoever. And then, just the love of the sport grows and grows and grows. So, nice inspiration there, Kyle. Carmelo Anthony. I'm surprised
Yeah.
you don't have cornrows like Kawhi Leonard did for Carmelo too.
Uh, yeah, I never had my hair braided, but uh, whenever I played basketball, I tried to mimic him, like especially like his pull-up jumper, just his form, and I also tried to mimic Derrick Rose a lot, just because I'm kind of short and I played point guard, so
Mm.
I looked up to him a lot. I didn't model myself after Dirk, even though he's like top one or two of my favorite players, just because he was like so big and so unique, such a unicorn. So
Who's your Robin? Who's your favorite player that's currently in the league?
Currently,
Hmm.
Luca.
Luca. Oh, good choice. Good choice. All right. So I promise, guys,
Luca.
this is not just a Mavericks podcast. Let's go ahead and get started
yes.
on the. Let's go ahead and get started on the full slate of NBA games. Uh, First thing I did when I woke up is I woke up at 10 o'clock, brushed my teeth, got all ready, got some breakfast food going, and I was sitting down, ready to watch the Miami Heat versus the New Orleans Pelicans. And man, seeing Zion and Duncan Robinson like going crazy, man, it was
Yeah.
so fun to
Mhm.
watch. What jumped out to you guys? What was the thing that sticks out to you in your mind from today's games that y'all liked, that y'all watched? It could be any game, but for me, I'm thinking about the Miami Heat. What about you guys?
Go
Rob.
first, Kyle.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, with the Miami New Orleans game, uh, New Orleans looked really good. I kind of thought that there would be some fitment issues with that team, like maybe not enough shooters, and then not enough floor spacing with Zion and Steven Adams. But they seem to work really well together. New Orleans had the lead for most of the first half, and then in the second half, Duncan Robinson, went crazy, hit a lot of threes, and
Yeah.
a really good team effort from Miami to bring it back and showing us why, they went to the finals last year.
Well,
So,
even without Jimmy Butler, and so not to cut you off,
uh-huh.
but I thought that was a terrific showing. I thought that Steven Adams with Zion Williamson was, going to be a problem initially, but Zion is so quick, so athletic. Like he will get around one or two dudes. It doesn't matter if the extra guy from Steven Adams is there. If he's healthy, this is the first time we're gonna have seen him in full conditioning, at the best that he's looked as far as his body goes going into the
Hmm.
season. And so I think that there is enough there to, uh, you know, not have that matter as much. Kind of like when Russell Westbrook, who can't shoot very well from three either,
Hmm.
he's got defenders all over the lane. He can just drive right by him with athleticism. Zion is just punching dudes in the face with his shoulders. Like that dude is so huge. He's like a bowling ball
Hmm.
with
Yeah.
the quickness of a lightning strike. Like he is insane. And so as far as that game goes, I didn't give you guys much of a premise of it, but it was super close to start until Miami did pull away. Jimmy Butler did leave the game at halftime with ankle soreness or ankle tightness, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
that might be attributed back to the finals when somebody landed on his foot, and so I wonder if
yeah,
it'll have lasting effects. But um, I was really impressed with Lonzo Ball, man. Like his shot was originally, as they might have mentioned this on the broadcast too, he used to pull it up from the side of his hip, and it's
yeah,
coming more
yeah.
from his belly button kind of area, and he's just slinging it. I think he was 2 for 4 from three tonight, and it was looking terrific. Rocketing some terrific passes all around the court. He tossed it off to Ingram for a high percentage corner three because he was open and he hadn't been making them. But he said Ingram is a more prolific scorer. Let him shoot. He got the long rebound. It went right back to him, and he lobbed it right back in for Zion. And then Zion missed the lob, but Zion can jump 3 times before regular dudes jump twice. So he got the rebound
Yeah,
and laid it right back
yeah.
in. So that was amazing. What do you got to say about what you saw today, Robin? Because we let Kyle go.
Two things. One from each team, actually, for Miami and New Orleans. I feel like Zion can be one of those people who can take over with the free throws. Like he can get as many free throws as he wants to.
Oh,
Like James Harden,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
like D Wade in the 2006 finals. We
mm-hmm,
talk about those people who they can really take over a game without actually taking over, just getting foul calls and going to the free throw line.
mm-hmm.
I felt like Zion brought them kind of back a little bit close, not too close, just by the free throws. Like
Yes, exactly.
he
No,
can
you're
knock
right.
him down. He's pretty consistent at him, so that's a good thing for New Orleans to look for. For Miami, kind of an overreaction, but I still think they're the team to beat in the East. I
Um,
think if Jimmy Butler gets healthy, I think they are the team to beat.
dude,
They just play harder than anybody else I've seen.
exactly, exactly.
And even in the finals, which was just 2 months ago, without a couple injuries, I don't think they would have won, but it would have been a lot closer than what it was. And I
Yeah.
feel like if they get healthy again, Tyler Herro's only going to get better. Duncan Robinson's only going to get better. Bam's only going to get better. And Jimmy's not a selfish superstar, which I like. I feel like they're the team to beat still.
For sure. And so I felt so bad for Josh Hart. Josh Hart was playing terrific defense. He was sticking to Duncan Robinson like glue, and he was
Yeah.
getting run into a brick wall of Steven
Yeah.
Adams, and whoever. And it was unfortunate. Bam Adebayo just trucked him and somehow
Yeah.
got a foul call against him. But I just felt so bad. But he chased Duncan Robinson off the line in the third quarter, and then Duncan Robinson goes in and scores the layup. Like that's crazy, and it feels bad when you're looking at it on screen. But his number one job is to not let Duncan Robinson shoot whatsoever. So if he's not shooting the three,
Hey.
that's success. But I felt so bad for him getting scored on. But he was lighting it up from three as well. And those free throws, I literally wrote it right here. I said, Zion is looking like a tidal wave. Like it's just a wave of free throws. You just run into
Hmm.
dudes, they're
Yeah.
scattering everywhere, and he's just if he can keep his free throw shots and attempts at above 70%, I think that's a definite positive sign for a team that doesn't really run that much. Stan Van Gundy coach teams don't have a lot of pace historically, but if you can get the easy baskets when the timer is not ticking, especially because they were down by 20 in the first half, that's going to mean a lot. Um, Kyle, you got anything to add about on this particular game before we move on to some of the next ones?
Yeah. I was gonna say that I kind of disagree with you,
Mm-hmm.
Robin, about Miami being the team to beat. I feel that in the East, like they're gonna be slept on again because I feel like their record's not gonna be the best. They're probably gonna fall to like the fourth or fifth seed with, Brooklyn looking great, obviously, Boston looking solid even though despite the loss. Uh,
Yeah.
and also Giannis and the Bucks, they're gonna be up there. So they're
Yeah.
probably gonna get slept on this round or this
Season?
year again, just like last year. Uh,
I
but
can, yeah.
What were you gonna say,
but
Robin?
yeah.
I was gonna say I can see that, but I feel like everybody in the East knows Miami's there. Like last year, we didn't think they were actually going to get that far and make it. It's one of those teams where like they play hard, but they have a wall or a ceiling they can get to. I didn't think Miami was going to get that far. This year, I feel like Brooklyn knows, Milwaukee for sure knows, Boston knows, Miami's still there. Even Toronto knows Miami's there this year. Until they take out Miami, I feel like Miami's that one team that can knock out anybody in the East,
Yeah, I think no team
matchup
wants
wise or
to.
not.
Nobody wants to play them.
Yeah,
Definitely, they all want to avoid them.
7 games
Yeah.
of toughness.
And
Yeah, I don't think
you
anybody
mentioned
wants that.
one of you guys mentioned how ready they looked and how fast they looked. They get into their offense so fast, so many times that they're actually already running a pick and roll when there's only 19 seconds on the, or there's still 19 seconds left on
Yeah,
the shot clock. That action can
Hmm.
develop. It can be stuffed by the defense, and they have a whole another backup plan. Goran Dragic looked terrific tonight, and the thing that I think is going to be crazy, in a negative way, I think Tyler Hero performed terrifically in the playoffs. I think he earned his starting role going into the season. He started tonight, but he definitely gets tunnel vision. Once like a play kind of breaks down, it doesn't go exactly the way it's supposed to. He's like, all right, it's kind of chaos. I got the ball. I'm shooting. So you'll see a lot of times Steph Curry will take advantage of
yeah,
chaos, and if he doesn't shoot, he'll find the open guy. Luka will do the same thing. LeBron, of course, is the best at it. Tyler Hero is going to have to learn, and there might be growing pains throughout the season because as soon as he's like, "Oh, it's breaking down," I'm shooting. I believe in myself, and it doesn't always go in. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
going to be watching for going forward.
Yeah, he's got to improve his IQ a little bit,
Hmm.
but other than that, he's got the talent. So
Oh, and Brandon Ingram, dude, that guy,
I
like
was just about to say that.
he
I was
he
just about to
mm,
say that.
he like
We can't not mention him.
I hate when and it's unfortunate that this is the way it has to be, but whenever someone's describing someone to an casual fan, you want to describe a comparison that they know. So you say Dwayne Wade, you say Dirk Nowitzki, and these really towering figures that it's super difficult for any rookie to live up to. And the comparison for Brandon Ingram at first was Kevin Durant because they're tall and lanky,
Yeah,
both of them are, and they can shoot. But and I hesitate to do it this in this instance too, but he can get a quality shot no matter how much time is left on the shot clock. There were 3 seconds left multiple times, and he was getting stuff going towards the rim, easy floaters with length over length, and then getting fadeaway twos, even a 3 pointer with a swish with the buzzer beaten in his face. So I thought that was terrific, and that quality is Kevin Durant esque. I'm not saying he's going to live up to be Kevin Durant because Kevin Durant is a one of one. There's not going to be another one like him
yeah.
in our generation. But that was Kevin Durant esque, and I am super high on him. And I think he was definitely deserving of that most improved player last year. So I'm excited to see the Pelicans for sure.
uh, about Brandon Ingram, like when he was on the Lakers, like I really thought he was underwhelming for how much praise that he got.
Hmm.
And even on the Pelicans last year, he won most improved player and stuff. I still don't fully
You're not a believer?
trust Brent.
Not a believer
No,
yet?
You're not a
I'm not
believer?
yet. No, I'm not.
Wow.
If he gets him to the playoffs, then I'll be a believer, and especially if he plays well in the playoffs, then I'll be a believer. But right now, I feel like he's a little overhyped.
No,
Wow, you
that's
said
fair. No,
overhyped?
that's fair.
Yeah.
He can feel however he wants to feel. But the one that I'm watching for that might tank the Pelicans' playoff hopes is probably Eric Bledsoe, man, because he is strong. He is a great defender, but there are times we
Yeah.
saw it in the Milwaukee series previously in 2 years back, where if things are breaking down and it looks like a tough decision, he's making a costly turnover. He's doing something that's detrimental to the offense that doesn't keep it flowing. And so, like, his line isn't super indicative of what I'm saying. 5 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal. It's passable. That's roughly what Drew Holiday would give you on an average day. But I think in those clutch moments where you saw Drew Holiday rise to the occasion and beat teams like Portland, Eric Bledsoe might not be able to do that for you, as we've seen already. I want Lonzo to take his starting spot. I think he can do it. So that's what I'm watching for this year. So
I
with
guess
all
I would
that
just
said,
say,
oh, uh huh.
I was just
No,
gonna
go
say,
ahead.
I think New Orleans should build through obviously Ingram over Zion.
Oh, all right. Why do you say that?
Yeah, that's how I feel. Because if Zion, you don't know if he's gonna be healthy for that long. Ingram is still young and he's still putting up these nice numbers, and he's not. He's being an efficient scorer. That's what I like. I'm not saying get rid of Zion. I'm saying they should not only build around Zion, but
Oh,
Ingram should be one of their main
yeah.
focuses as
So I
well.
think that might be a reason that they even have Steven Adams. They need someone to run pick and roll
Yeah,
with. So that's definitely a great
yeah,
point. People are always questioning
yeah.
it, but Brandon Ingram is also right there. He's also young. It's only maybe 3 or 4 years difference between him and Zion. So yeah, you want to build around two pillars instead of just one. Just ask James Harden. You need two.
Mhm.
So definitely, definitely. Um, if with that, do you guys want to move on to the next game?
Yeah.
All right, so next up on the docket was the Milwaukee Bucks, or was it the Nets game? It was the Bucks game.
No, no. Yeah,
It
Yeah,
was a
Bucks
Bucks game.
and Golden
it was
State.
Bucks Warriors, and I gotta say, man, like if you guys have listened to our previous episodes, you guys out there, or if you're joining us for the first time, it is not very often that I put a hot take out there like this. But when is the last time Steph Curry had a good regular season game? I know he was injured. Last year he only played 5 games. I know the year before that was when he had Kevin Durant on the team. But the time that ends up on House of Highlights, that ends up on Instagram, goes on Twitter, that is going all crazy. That time that he dribbled through 9 defenders' shoes on the Thunder and then put up that three where Steve Kerr was like this and then like this, making that 1 3. That was like 3 years ago. So I went into the season talking to Andre about how his gravity is going to pull away so many defenders that it's going to be so easy for everyone to score. Eric Pascal, he can shoot, bro. He's got competent players. Kevon Looney, he can finish if he needs to. We saw it when Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson were on the team. But with this Steph Curry now doing this like standing back and embarrassed at the crazy stuff that Kelly Oubre is doing, like
Yeah.
I wonder, like, there's more that can be done, and there's definitely going to be more development for this team over the season, but it has not been an inspiring week for these Warriors. And am I totally off base? Like, how big of a load can Steph Curry really carry by himself?
Yeah, I was gonna say his carry potential is definitely being put into question this season. It really sucks to hear about Klay Thompson getting injured, and we just hope he recovers quickly, and so does Draymond. So hopefully they can be in playoff contention. But right now they really need another player to step up, like they were hoping
Andrew
Wiggins
Wiggins?
would.
Hmm.
Yeah. But
Wiggins.
so far it just hasn't happened, and then Kelly Oubre hasn't been the best either.
Ooh, he was dunking on
It's
everybody in the first game, and he deceived us all
yeah.
in the first quarter. But
Hmm.
it's some
Yeah.
of the decisions are kind of out of whack. And just to give
Hmm.
everyone the context, the Bucks put a shellacking on the Warriors, beating them by 39 points. It was close through 2 quarters, only about a 8 to 10 point difference between the first 2 quarters, and then they really opened them up in the third and the fourth. Those guys were just all out of sorts, all out of whack. James Wiseman looking good, looking athletic, can finish, make the easy shots that you're supposed to finish, especially as a rookie. But it just looked as though the defense was startling or too much for them. What takeaways do you guys have?
Right. Well, I was gonna say let's not go ahead and like totally bash the Warriors. They did play the Nets and also the Bucks. I'm not thinking the Warriors are gonna make the playoffs, but they did play two well teams. Um, I think Curry is one of those players who, if you have surrounding pieces next to him, he's gonna be an MVP type level. I don't think he can carry the load on his own, or at least not them. Uh, Unless Draymond gets back and does a little bit more than what we were accustomed to him doing, I don't think the Warriors will make the playoffs. I think with Clay there, they have a much better chance than with Draymond. With if Clay's hurt.
Hmm.
Um, I just don't think the Warriors are that good at all. I think they gave too many pieces away to get KD. They couldn't sign anybody else, and when KD left, now they're scattering to go get other pieces again. I think they were deeper before KD, and they relied on KD a little bit more than we expected.
That and their players that were part of their depth aged out. Maurice Spades, Sean
Yeah,
Livingston.
Iguodala
Yeah,
left.
they definitely that
Yeah,
that definitely is true. And you're right. They did play the probably top two talents on paper in the East. Uh, but you got to wonder, does Draymond Green put him in the playoffs to this roster? Klay Thompson probably definitely does. And so this
yeah.
comparison, Kyle, I want you to answer. There's no prep time on this one. If
Hmm.
you're comparing them player to player, we have seen that James Harden, weird COVID year shenanigans aside,
Yeah.
he is a guaranteed playoff berth, bro. Remember when he
Yeah.
had those like 30 straight games of 35 plus points when the Rockets were like in the bottom of the standings in December and he just dragged them by the scruff of their necks into the playoffs? That's my man, James Harden. You're telling me that Steph Curry can't do that or he can? What do you think?
I feel he definitely can. I'm sure, especially right now, like coming off an injury and stuff.
Coming off an
Um,
injury, he had a whole
he
offseason.
well, yeah, he did have a very long off season, so it's not really an excuse either. But he's aging a little bit. I'm not the biggest
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
Curry fan or and stuff, but I feel he for sure has the skills to be able to carry a team. Like he's one of the best, if not the best, 3-point shooter of all time, and he can do it off the dribble, like literally anywhere,
He is
range
definitely an
every.
unprecedented
Yeah,
player, and it
yeah,
deserves the praise that you're talking about. But I wonder. Yeah,
yeah,
you're right,
yeah.
Robin.
I think James Harden and the Warriors. Yeah, that was the thing, right? Yeah, I think if he was on the Warriors, they for sure would make the playoffs. Like, no doubt. I mean, he led a Houston Rockets team with the older Chris Paul. Think of him with a Curry, who's a much better shooter than Chris Paul. Still younger, so you know you're gonna get him on a nightly basis, unless barring any or any weird injuries or whatnot.
Hmm.
I think wherever Harden goes, they'll probably make the playoffs, but it's more of a do you want that distraction? I mean, at the end of the day, like COVID is affecting so many people. Why would you still be going out? If you really wanted to play the game that you say you love, you wouldn't be going out. You would take it seriously and just stay in. It's not hard.
I feel like this is an act of defiance to the Houston Rockets, just saying like a big like F you to the Houston Rockets because he's like really done with them. If I was the Houston Rockets, I would just try and like ship him off as soon as possible because he at this point he's a liability to the team. He's DQing you from games,
So you're saying
and
if
he
James
just
Harden was on a different team, he wouldn't be in acting in the same way. He'd be more in line and trying to be a cohesive leader for maybe the Sixers or for the Heat. Is that what you're saying?
uh uh well, I don't think he would be a good fit for the Heat, but
But just
if
on
they
X team, whatever team it is,
hmm
he wouldn't be
hmm
behaving this way if he wasn't in Houston.
not to this extent, no.
This is the man
I
that got
mean,
his jersey retired at the strip club. He could be hired. He could be acting like this everywhere.
Uh,
okay, well, yeah, that's definitely a good point. Uh, I
So,
don't know. I can't disagree with you, but I just feel like he has a personal vendetta against the Houston Rockets at this point.
oh, and I would too if Tillman Fertitta was my owner, dude. That guy seems to have managed his money so poorly. He had to get a loan to buy the team, and when the bubble went down,
Uh,
we all felt the squeeze. All of us have worked in sales before. We understand what kind of times these are where it's tough to make ends meet, especially when you're running your own business and a conglomerate like him. But they had to run he had to get a special favor from Adam Silver to have his restaurants supply the food for the bubble so he could make some money back. That is not someone that seems to be as competent as someone like Steve Ballmer, who is the richest owner in the league by far. Like that guy has it all his ducks in a row. When you look at somebody as tone deaf as Tillman Fertitta, and I apologize, guys. I know this is a Christmas podcast. The Houston Rockets did not play on Christmas. You guys
yeah,
kind of
no, no.
hijacked the conversation going towards the Rockets, but that guy's autobiography is called "Shut Up and Listen." Do you want to listen to anyone that tells you to shut up before they start talking? No, you don't, and I don't want to hear it.
oh
Um,
man.
Chris Middleton, let me just swerve us back. He was 6 for 8 from three tonight, 75% from three. So if you take out some of those attempts, some of the hot shooting, maybe the game is closer for the Warriors. But for their upcoming schedule, I don't know when they're gonna get above 500. They're down 0-2, and let me look up their upcoming schedule and see what their next win might be
For the
for the
Warriors.
Warriors, because
Oh.
I just for a team as lauded and applauded and the dynasty that has come to pass the past few years, I wonder when they'll come back to prominence because we don't know what's going to happen with Klay Thompson coming up. So, are there any players that you guys think that they should keep going forward? I think Eric Pascal. I don't think y'all
Yeah, I
are sold
think
on
Pascal.
Andrew Wiggins. Anybody else?
I think.
Wiseman has
Oh
definitely
yeah.
shown some promise. Uh, I feel like he needs to work on his form a little bit,
Hmm.
shooting wise. But I was watching the game and I heard an interview from or uh, little quotes from an
Hmm.
interview they did with Steve Kerr
Hmm.
talking about Wiseman, and they were just saying he's a sponge, like he loves to be coached, like he's learning a lot from not only Steve Kerr but Draymond as well. And they played an audio clip of Draymond talking to him on the bench, and so he's definitely probably one of the most promising stars for the Warriors, and they should probably keep him.
So number two pick, unwasted. Yeah, and so you mentioned you liked Eric Pascal. I pulled up their schedule. They've got Denver coming up. That's not going to be easy. Let's
Uh,
say they take let's say they take two wins against the Sacramento Kings. They play the Sacramento Kings twice after that, and then after that they've got Brooklyn. No, that's done already. Oh, Chicago and Detroit. They should be able to take some wins off those guys, but who knows?
but with this roster, you don't even know if those Kings games are secured. Like with
Hmm.
this roster and Curry, you don't even know if he's gonna do enough to beat the Kings both times.
Tyrese
It's
Halliburton looking
not.
good
It's
for the
not.
Kings.
Yeah, it's not like it's 2, 3 years ago when it's like, oh, that's a win, that's a win. Now it's like you don't know what's a win, what's a loss.
Yeah, nothing's guaranteed.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like the next couple of weeks for the Warriors will give us a better picture of how they'll look to see if they're potentially a playoff team or if they're gonna end up bombing out.
So, do you guys want to move on to the third game before we get to the hometown Dallas Mavericks?
Ready?
I had something quick to say about the Bucks.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, despite Giannis not playing super well, they blew Golden State out of the water. Uh, I've always felt that Chris Middleton wasn't really a problem in
For the opponent.
more. Well, no, I mean like in general, like because Milwaukee's had these playoff troubles,
Hmm.
and I felt that Chris Middleton was never really the issue with them. I feel like it's always been on Giannis to step up and develop his game in a way where he can create a shot better. And in my opinion, I think he really needs to develop at least like a mid-range jump shot and get better at his free
Yeah.
throws. I I've seen clips from B-ball breakdown where Giannis in his rookie season he had a pretty decent form and he shot a pretty decent three-point percentage,
Hmm.
but something's changed about that and his shooting form has changed and it's hurt him. I feel. I mean, obviously he's a two-time MVP, but like to complete his game, I feel that he really needs to develop a shot.
Shout outs to B-Ball Breakdown, and I apologize, Robin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get to you in just a second. Coach Nick, B-Ball Breakdown, we love you guys, but you're right, and I do think that Giannis needs to develop a shot. A lot of people said that he needed to develop a three-pointer, but imagine, you're guarding Giannis. He is a giant physical freak with huge shoulders bigger than your whole face, Kyle. Like, you don't
Yeah.
want him to drive and wreak havoc and get an and one. You don't want that. So
No.
that guy is insane. You're gonna let him shoot the three and take a sub 40% shot when he could get all the way to the rim in 2 steps
Mm.
and dunk on your face. So what I think he needs to do in contrast to that 3 point shot is to develop some sort of turnaround hook shot, something with his back to the basket that you can get to reliably and easily, and
Hmm.
and work as a hub for the offense that doesn't just stop working when the opposing team forms a wall.
Yeah.
As the great coach Stan Van Gundy of the Pelicans says, form a fucking wall. It's beaten Giannis 2 times in 2 consecutive
Uh,
playoffs. But if you can work from the mid post, from the low post, and pass out of double teams effectively, a la Dirk Nowitzki, that's what's going to unlock the next step for the Milwaukee Bucks and maybe help to make a finals berth. I don't think that's going to be the case if he continues to try to shoot threes. And you can see his touch and something about late game situations. He has been bricking free throws, or not even bricking them. He's been airballing free throws and losing that clutch one against the Celtics just the other
Yeah.
night. So, what were you going to say, Robin? Sorry to steal your thunder.
I was gonna talk about Chris Middleton.
Yeah.
I felt like in the playoffs when Giannis went down and Middleton had to step up
Mhm.
and they won that game without Giannis. I feel like that kind of gave him that confidence to Giannis to take a seat. Sometimes he'll take the show for now. Like today, Giannis didn't really have it going, and Chris Middleton stepped up. It's kind of the same thing we saw with Porzingis and Luka. Luka
Oh, for
went
sure.
down. That's when Porzingis actually started showing what he was like in New York. I feel like that's what Middleton's gonna start doing now, and he's gonna take a lot of stuff off of Giannis's shoulders. I feel like that's also a main reason why Giannis wanted to stay, is because I think he has more faith in Chris Middleton after that playoff run, which was I think was a good run for him.
Side note, not exactly about the basketball game or the players, but what do y'all think about Boston's court with the banners behind the goals? It looks
It's
fresh.
Uh,
really sick. Yeah.
yeah, I
Robin,
like
he's
it.
not. You're not
I
up on
like
it.
it, man.
You,
I like
oh
it. Yeah,
yeah,
I
it looks
like it.
great. I think the banner jerseys that they got on, I think it's kind of asking for it. Like they're asking, like, oh, you think you're the champions already? Their jerseys are
Mhm.
styled after their
Yeah.
banners,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
Yeah,
kind of a
yeah.
flex because they got the most banners tied with the Lakers now. But
Oh,
Yeah, tied now.
I oh, it's tied now. I
mhm.
thought the Lakers passed them with this last ring.
Oh, I don't. I thought
They're
it was
both at
tied.
17, I think.
Yeah, I don't count. Oh,
Okay.
is it 17 and 16? Because the Celtics have 16, but we don't count the Minneapolis titles. They're from fucking Minnesota. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Uh,
any closing thoughts on these two teams? Y'all want to talk about how Jason Tatum is looking like a legit, get his own shot, almost superstar?
yeah, with Jason Tatum, like I just feel like he's like really streaky. Like he can really create a shot at any time, but he'll go like whole halves like shooting pretty poorly, and then he'll turn it on in like the second half. So I feel like he's definitely very talented and he's worked on his skills a lot, but I just want him to be a little more consistent throughout the game, like Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown, is really solid. He's an all-around player. Plays great defense. He's got great size, arm or wingspan. I mean, uh, but he needs to improve, like probably like his three-point shooting. But other than that, I really like this duo in Boston, and they haven't really had any trouble playing so far without Kimba. So
What do you think, Robin?
I think Jason Tatum is one of the next superstars. I think that run in February where he was going crazy before the lockdown, the first lockdown, I
Hmm.
should say. I think that kind of made like Boston start to realize like he should get the ball late games, as he did when he got blocked by Bam. But I feel like he's kind of their go-to guy. Like Kimba, we know can do it. Jalen Brown he's a consistent stud, but I think Tatum is their go-to guy, and I think if they want to take that next step and actually go to the finals, it's gonna have to be because of Tatum.
You're right, and the point I was gonna kind of contrast Kyle with, I'm a huge Jalen Brown fan, and I think he chooses the right spots, and he doesn't bite off more than he can chew. If he's got a straight line drive going to the basket, he's gonna take it. He's gonna try to lay it in. He plays terrific defense, takes the open three. If it's not open, he doesn't do much, especially compared to Jason Tatum, of trying to create his own shot, go dribble east and west as opposed to north and south. He passes the ball away, which is why. And Jason Tatum will take on all comers, double teams, maybe almost triple teams, but you have to do that to refine those skills during the regular season to do it during the playoffs. So I wonder if this is the year where he can keep refining it and you're going to see it pay dividends. They did get to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, so that's great.
uh, uh, this metaphor kind of just popped in my head right now. Like Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum, they're kind of like yin and yang, like almost literally.
Hmm.
Like uh, you said Jalen Brown doesn't really bite off more than he can chew, and sometimes uh, Jason Tatum is the opposite. He definitely bites off more than he can chew sometimes,
Yeah.
but he's so talented that like he'll just make that shot sometimes, and he's
Uh,
definitely
you're definitely right.
that guy to take that shot.
That game
Yeah.
winner was a brick. The one that went off the backboard, he missed it, but it just bounced in. Anyway, all right. So we'll end with that one. The Celtics. We're gonna watch
Mhm,
their careers
mhm.
with great interest. The Nets, man. I can't talk about the game without talking about Kyrie Irving's layup package, man. Like he's
Yeah.
just so
Oh man.
amazing to watch around the rim, bro. He can just shoot from every angle imaginable because he practices it so much, and you can tell he had all this time to practice. But oh man, like Jared Allen looking springy, DeAndre Jordan putting up some blocks and throwing down some dunks. Like I'm up. All of their role players, every single one of them, you would want them to be at least the seventh man on your team, no matter where you're at. You say, okay, yeah, yeah, go ahead and give me Jared Allen. Go ahead and give me Spencer Dinwiddie. Go ahead and give me Landry Shamet. Yeah, I'll take him. Karis LeVert, I'll take him. They have a full loaded roster of eighth man or better prospects, plus Kevin Durant, who looks great, and Kyrie Irving, who's looking good so far. Let's hope his knees don't get injured again. Uh,
Mm. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and call it right now. I'm gonna say it with my chest. I think Karis LeVert will probably win uh six man of the year
All
this
right,
year.
I'm gonna put that on this
Yeah.
board right here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Where do you have the
Ooh.
just preliminary prediction? Just you gotta just say it now. Are the Nets gonna be third, second, or first in the West? No, I don't even need any
Uh,
reasoning. You just say third,
East.
second, or first. In the East, sorry, East.
East. Yeah. Robin, I'll let you go first.
I think they will be second to the Bucks. I think the Bucks are an amazing regular season team, but I think the Nets are so deep. I don't think people understand that last year they almost hit the playoffs without their two best players. And now they add probably one of the best scorers of all time. And then with Kyrie, as you said, his layup package, probably the best finisher I've ever seen with left or right
Mm-hmm.
hand, which is
Mm-hmm.
crazy. If they can stay healthy, you got DeAndre Jordan, who's on the glass. You got Allen on the bench, who should be their starting center before they got DeAndre Jordan.
You're right.
Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie. They got all these pieces. I think they're just so deep. So if KD takes a night off or Kyrie takes a night off, they're not gonna be in a predicament to where one of them is going to have to carry the load. It's just a team game for them. And I think they all kind of, as what's his face, Jeff Van Gundy was talking about, they know their roles so quickly. And I think without them already having those great chemistry, they don't have to build into it. So they're going to have a good record from the early get go, not, one of those teams that starts really slow and then gets it going later on. I think they're going to start fast.
And Joe Harris locked him up to
Yeah.
a several multi-year deal. 50% shoot from three tonight. That guy can dribble. You can chase him off the three. He's gonna dribble just like Duncan Robinson. He's Duncan Robinson of the North, whereas Duncan Robinson's of the South. What do you got? Where you got him finishing, Kyle? One, two, or three?
I was originally gonna say I was gonna have them second too, but they're when you explained like just how stacked they are, like it's really hard not for me to put them at the number one seed.
So I've swayed you
Uh,
in the moment. You've been swayed
Whoa.
yeah,
live on the show.
yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. So, thank you guys for giving me those preliminary takes.
Mhm.
Let's move on to the meat and potatoes of tonight's showing, the one that probably hurts you guys in y'all's hearts. But we are journalists, guys. We have to move
Mhm.
on and not take it so personally. The Dallas Mavericks fall to 0-2. The Lakers rise to 1-1 after a shellacking on the boards by the Lakers using their size. The Mavericks put up a fight, causing a lot of turnovers, more than the Mavericks have caused in years past, but ultimately falling to the Lakers 138 to 115. What is your immediate reaction to seeing the action that unfolded tonight?
Here we go. Tonight I feel like we're missing Porzingis more than ever. We got killed on the boards today. Got killed on the boards on Wednesday against Phoenix. I think we're not playing big, and also we're not running a lot. I know we got killed by fast break points the other day, uh, and we got more turnovers on Wednesday. And then today it's the same thing. It's we just don't have enough firepower. I feel like when Luka goes to the bench, we got so many pieces like Jalen Brunson who can take over in a quarter, or Jason or Josh Richardson or whoever. But I just feel like at the moment, I think we shouldn't have high expectations on the Mavericks. I think we're more of a building. We're still building. It's not going to come soon. I think Luka's third season.
Mm-hmm. 20,
I just think
21 years
that
old.
KP needs to get back, get healthy, get going. I think this is slowly and slowly we're going to keep getting better, but you can't make that jump over a year.
Uh, I feel that one of our problems tonight uh has been like our chemistry, adding these new pieces with Willie Cauley-Stein and James Johnson. Uh, I can tell by how they were playing out there. Like James Johnson was about to hand it off to I think Josh Richardson in the corner, but Josh didn't come or Richardson didn't come uh earlier than he was expecting, and then they both ended up turning around and running the same direction back up the court. Uh, so just like little things like that have been affecting the chemistry. Uh, Also, we some of the lineups like we've gotten bigger with those additions as well, but we didn't play them as much, and we still got really out rebounded. I like for Dallas like how much effort we put out on the defensive end. Like obviously, we still got blown out, but um, I'm looking at the steals right now. Like Dallas had a total of 13 steals compared to the Lakers' nine, and then also the Lakers, we were able to force the Lakers to turn the ball over more. They had 16 turnovers compared to Dallas's 9. So I really liked our improvements on defense. On offense, there was just a lot of hesitation. Like if Luka wasn't creating, like, and he would pass it off. Like if the guy didn't make that like take that first shot, like the ball just got like hot
Kind of died,
potatoed
right?
and
And so
yeah.
it takes time for secondary sets off the first action to develop for a team. They're in their second game back. They've added new additions, just like you said. Josh Richardson is going to be an integral part of the lineup. James Johnson, not so much, but in spot minutes, he's going to have to come through clutch and really know with the playbook. I want to put some respect on the defending champions' names, even though I think all Lakers fans are corny. I think Anthony Davis is corny. I think
Oh yeah.
that I think that they have a wonderful passing team. I think that they have a lot of guys that know their role. I really love the addition of Dennis Schroeder, but just seeing Marcus Gasol toss that line or that long court pass down to LeBron James over to AD for the lob, like it's just poetry in motion. Kentavious Caldwell Pope is not afraid of the moment. Alex Caruso dribbles so fast. He gives pace to a team that otherwise is pretty slow, but with the addition of Dennis Schroeder as well, it's going to bring up the pace too. Their defense is stifling. They will double Luka to make him pass the ball and scramble back in time to put pressure on those lesser ball handlers. Although I was very impressed by Josh Richardson tonight. They look like Toronto's swarming defense. They look like Toronto, the Raptors, that have a top defense with Kawhi Leonard and still had a top defense the following year with Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry. So, um, the Mavericks lost to the Suns. They always lose to the Suns. The Mavericks lost to the defending champion Lakers, and that's not much of a surprise. But I think the things that were encouraging were, like Kyle said, the activity on defense, so many hands in the passing lanes. Max Kleber forced a steal. Dwight Powell forced a steal. Josh Richardson seemed to have forced multiple steals, and they were able to get out in the open court. Trey Burke looking good in the open court despite being undersized. Jalen Brunson was contributing. They had a lot of contributors, but they lost on the rebounding, like you guys mentioned, for being undersized. 34-19 in the third quarter was the difference in rebounding.
Hmm.
And then I don't have the final stats pulled up, but they allowed at least 22 points from the Lakers and second chance points. That means they played the possession fine. They forced the miss, but didn't clean up the glass and seal the possession with a rebound. And Robin is right. Porzingis is going to be a good addition to that. He's not a super strong rebounder. He is a terrific help side defender, which puts him out of position for rebounds. But an extra 8, 9 rebounds, like that's going to be terrific, of course. I
Yep.
was really encouraged by Josh Richardson driving to the rim because he, of course, can dribble. He can shoot, shooting with confidence. Had a super efficient night tonight. 50% from the floor, 40% from three, and the Mavericks finally have another player besides Luca that can handle the ball and is not undersized for his position. JJ Barea, everybody you can think of. Go back 10 years.
Yeah.
Roddy Beaubois. I'm going back to Roddy Beaubois right now.
Yeah, I
Jalen,
remember.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson. Like everyone is undersized. Trey Burke, undersized.
Hmm.
But for once, this guy can
Yeah.
finish with length, can get in the passing lanes, and has a good defensive IQ, and can handle. And Lucas looks as though he can play as a cog within the offense, not having the ball immediately. So I think it's going to get better as time goes on for the Mavericks, but we will see. Anybody stick out to you guys on the Lakers side that I mentioned, or anything you want to elaborate on?
Uh, Definitely Montrezl Harrell.
I was
Uh,
just about to say
he
that.
he's not, yeah, he's not even the largest guy on the court, but he was just
But he
hustling
plays like it.
hard. Like,
Plays like it.
yeah, 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 he was hustling hard. Like even on Boban, like,
Hmm.
uh, you know, he that was the one time they put a bigger guy on him, and he has the jump shot ability, the mid range, so he took advantage there. On a side note, how I would be insanely tilted if a dude with dreads playing with fur in his shoes shot a jump shot in my face and with it, I'd be tilted. I'd be so mad.
What you got against the fur, Kyle?
Yeah, it's just so dumb. It's so, and Anthony Davis was clowning on him too before the game, but
Yeah.
I saw it like on the court. He was actually playing with it for like in the first half, and I was like, dude, like, come on, like I
It
couldn't.
was nice.
No, I would be so mad if he, and especially if he was outplaying me, like, bro, like, nah, I couldn't handle it. I'd be so mad.
So I got, I guess, two things to say, and I'm gonna stop singing all of Josh Richardson's praises. But dude, he drove right around Anthony Davis and laid it up in the first quarter.
Oh
So
yeah.
finishing over Link, terrific. But this is kind of a side note. What do you guys think of the overall presentation of the bubble games so far? Now that we've closed several games that we've watched, like, or not, these aren't the bubble games. The bubble's over. We're in the
Mm.
regular
Yeah.
season. They're traveling from court to court. Have y'all liked how the teams have covered the seats or anything like that? Anything to say about that?
I guess I'll go. I was actually going to ask you, which is so crazy, if the NBA should just go back to the bubble. Um, that was literally like question number one right here. And that's what I was talking to you the other
Yeah.
day. I was like, I already have a question
Yeah.
because what's the point of all this traveling if you're just gonna play in an empty spot? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
I don't know. And then if you've seen the NFL, people have got COVID or whatnot. They can't play in that game. They just, they push it back, whatnot. With the NBA, if you can't play the game, there's no way you can push it back. The schedules are so, every other
Well,
day or
yeah, they
whatnot.
they postponed the Rockets and the Thunder
Yeah.
game, but I don't really see where that's going to go on the schedule because it's so willy nilly. People are all over the place, and it's not just one or two games a week like they are in the NFL. So the scheduling guys are wizards, but I also don't know. And the answer that I have to your question, as far as the bubble goes, they're not going to make another bubble because some players just had a big hit on their mental health. Just look at Paul George. Like, they didn't like being in that environment. They didn't like being apart from their families for that amount of time. One of the suggestions that was floated during the offseason before this season came back together was like bubble number 1 month break, bubble number two, or regional bubbles or whatever. And they're trying to alleviate that by, you go to New York and you play Philly, both New York teams, and then maybe you swing down to Boston just because it's all in that upper region. So pseudo bubbles, but I think I would prefer the bubble, to be honest, as a watcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Go ahead, Kyle.
No, I just have a quick note. In the Miami Pelicans game, because there was no fans in the stands, they had the camera like zoomed in a little bit more to focus on just the players
Mhm.
and cut the
The seats
the
out.
stands and cut the seats out. And it was just a little odd and off-putting. Something we're not used to. So just a little side note. Uh,
And so, as far as that goes, having all the teams doing a great job covering up the seats and making it look good. They brought the rail cam back from the bubble. This has never been here before because we got courtside seats everywhere. That one camera that Luca almost got hit by in the bubble that
Yeah.
swallows him.
Hey.
It looks like you're there, and I love it. It needs to stay. It is the best thing that I've ever seen. It's terrific. I love it. Like, people hate when they mess with the camera angles, like that one All-Star game where they had the overhead cam when they were dribbling down the
Oh
court
yeah.
looking like
Yeah.
2K.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, "Oh, this is terrible," and they changed that at halftime. I love all the different camera angles. Get weird with it, man. Like, it doesn't got to be the same thing for my entire life. I'll be watching basketball until I die, probably at least another 20 years. So I change it up, you know. So that's how I feel.
that's the production manager in you, Rich.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah. So that tonight left us a lot to think about going forward, and I'm super excited to see how the season plays out. We're recording this, like I said, at about 11 p.m. On Friday, and the Clippers have opened up a 17-point lead on the Nuggets. Just me saying those words to you, does that surprise you based on how the
Doesn't mean
Clippers?
much.
Well, okay, so it doesn't mean much. Robin says it
No.
doesn't mean much. Does it surprise you, this score that I just mentioned to you, Kyle, based on what you saw the Clippers earlier in the week?
Uh, Not really. Jamal Murray had an underwhelming performance in the opener. Uh, it does suck a little bit that all the Christmas games today have been like pretty much blowouts. Like the scores haven't really been close.
Mhm.
I mean, other than like the Miami New Orleans game,
Mhm.
where New Orleans was leading at first and then Miami had to come back. Other than that, it's they've all been kind of like one-sided, which is kind of sad. You love to see close games, especially on Christmas Day. Uh,
Nothing's gonna
but
top that Warriors Cavs Christmas
yeah,
Day game
2016.
after the
Yeah.
Yeah.
that rematch. But no, you're right. A little bit underwhelming, but at times, those blowouts or lopsided stuff lets you see the coaches tinker with pieces that they wouldn't normally tinker with, and that's the stuff that I really live for. Um, that's exciting. So awesome. Is there
Uh,
anything? Oh, what's up, Kyle?
yeah, it's also, kind of important to keep in mind like this is only like the second game of the season uh for a lot of these teams which we're not used to. Normally it's like mid-season
Oh,
or
it's
well
like
still early season.
we end the
Mid
beginning of the season right
Yeah,
now, and
yeah.
you try to see
Yeah.
what playoff seeds are shaking out. So
Mm,
definitely some
yeah.
perspective. Thank you for that perspective, Kyle.
Mm.
Is there anything that you guys, besides what we said tonight, going forward into the season, is there any particular storyline or a player or maybe even a coach or something that you guys are kind of looking to see develop over the rest of the season? Go ahead, Kyle.
Me?
It looks like you're ready.
Yeah. No, no,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, go
saying
ahead.
go ahead, Robin, because
Oh,
I keep
me?
on going first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let him go. Yeah.
For me, I think it would be Trey Young. We get all this talk about Luca, Luca this, Luca that, and I'm a big Luca fan. But being drafted or being in that trade involved on draft night to go to the other end, everyone's saying Luca's going to be the next face of the NBA. Luca this MVP favorite. I feel like Trey Young, obviously, he's competitive, so he's going to want to show what he can do. Atlanta didn't lose that draft or that trade on the draft night.
Mhm.
I think they made a lot of key pieces or key trades for key pieces or whatnot. I think they can sneak into the playoffs at 8 or 7 if they all get healthy. Capella gets healthy and they play around Trey. I think they make it. They can make it into the playoffs. So I'm looking at Trey Young this year.
Kyle?
Uh, I mean, I guess really the story that stuck out to me, a lot of people would say like probably like Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
becoming a
A
playoff
playoff team.
contender. I The other story in the East would probably be, obviously Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and that's probably the one I would go with as well. Uh, you know, I guess before this season, a lot of people kind of slipped on Katie and Kyrie. They had questions, but throughout these first couple of games and even the preseason games, like they've just been insane. And I think they're probably the favorites out of the East. Their chemistry is so good already. Uh, I guess kind of because they've been together a season already, so
Hmm.
they kind of have a feel of how they want to play on the court together already. But uh, I want to see them in the high pressure situations, like when it even perhaps in the regular season, but definitely in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
in clutch
Let's see
games,
who,
is Kyrie Irving going to defer to Kevin Durant? Not because,
yeah, or
I mean, Kevin Durant is, top scorer of all time, but Kyrie Irving's also the point guard. It seems as though it's kind of in your job description to fix him up with the ball, in key moments like that. And he is a multiple time champion. Kyrie Irving has only won one, although it was one of the most clutch performances I've ever seen from any champion. That's for sure. But
Yeah,
to answer my own question, dude, the Clippers, like, I love the additions that they made. I love that they signed Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard looks like Tyler Hero out there. Everyone has Tyler Hero on the brain. Go look at Luke Kennard. He can dribble. I've been saying this on every podcast. I guess I'm forming my own island, Luke Kennard Island. The Clippers almost won 60 games last season before it was abbreviated, and now they've added pieces to make it even better. They added champion Serge Ibaka. That's what I'm watching. So that's what I'm gonna say, and I think they're gonna take this win against the Nuggets. As much as I love the Nuggets, I love Jokic so much. So
Mhm.
stay tuned to watch that, and I'll hold myself accountable for that prediction or note. Robin, you mentioned
uh,
you had some questions written down. Did you have
Oh
anything
yeah.
left?
Okay. The first one was the bubble one. That kind of just came out of nowhere, so that one's good. My second one is: do you guys actually think that Denver is a serious contender this year? Obviously, we've got both the LA teams that everyone talks about. Last year, nobody even mentioned Denver when they shocked the Clippers. Everyone's like, "Oh, okay." Nobody expected that, but do you actually like take them seriously this year?
I definitely do, but I'm gonna let Kyle answer first.
I feel they've definitely earned the respect uh, after making those two comebacks in the playoffs. This year, though, I mean, it's only been two games, but they've both been kind of underwhelming. They lost Jeremy Grant in the offseason, um, and he was a good solid piece for them to. and then also Jamal Murray's been a little underwhelming so far, even though he went insane in the bubble. Uh, I wonder if uh, I'm sure you guys have seen this interview with Damian Lillard saying it was easier in the bubble because you just went back to the hotel and you started recovering immediately and you didn't have
Be on
to
a plane,
yeah.
deal with your girl,
Hmm.
whatever.
Yeah, they didn't have to deal with that, and it was easier in the bubble because they could just get back to recovering right away. I'm wondering that's uh, if that really gave an advantage
I'm gonna
to
stop you right there,
Denver.
Kyle.
Wow.
Thank you very much for your input. They got fucking Nikola Jokic. They got Jamal Murray. They got two guys that can run a two-man game that can create a shot all by themselves, different play styles, different positions, and then they've got their third almost star, kind of making waves. Uh, they got hold on, I'm gonna have to cut this out.
MPJ.
They got Michael Porter
Hmm.
Jr. fresh off that back surgery, looking good, but
Yeah.
small forward, can slide down to power forward. Three different dudes that can create offense in their own ways, alone or together. So I'm up because that's what everyone's hunting. Everyone wants to get 2 stars, 3 stars, but they already drafted all three of them. So I think that they can definitely at least be a top 4 seed, even if they are not a top 2 seed like they were in years past. And then once you're in the playoffs, that's another team you're not going to want to see. You don't want to see the Heat. You don't want to see the ultra conditioned Denver Nuggets. They play in the Mile High City, bro. So I'm up. I'm up on the Nuggets. I'm up on the Heat, and I'm up on the Clippers.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're definitely a sleeper team as well. Yeah, like you said, nobody really wants to face them, especially after these past playoff series and the past couple of seasons they've been the the third seed like both years I think or something like that,
Hmm.
a really high
Yeah,
respectable seed,
a
and
respectable seed with no respect. Uh-huh.
yeah, exactly. And it feels like they just kind of slipped in and like nobody's really tagged them to be like a championship contender, but well, they need to start getting going this season. Make sure all their pieces are going uh, to keep up their expectations that they created for themselves last year.
Hmm. Anything else you got there, Robin, or should we leave it for another time?
Uh, no, that's good. That's what I had 2 questions ready, and I asked them. That's
Awesome,
good.
awesome, awesome. Okay, so good. You're the first guest we've ever had that had their own segment ready to go. So we appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yes, sir.
It has been a fun episode talking about these Christmas Day games. It's gonna hopefully feel like an extended Christmas Day present for our listeners that get this gift all wrapped up for them in the morning. Um, I appreciate you guys coming on with me tonight. Is there anything that you guys want to say as a final note? Anything that where people can find you guys on Twitter or Instagram? Anything to follow before I plug the show and kind of wrap us up?
You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Kyle F1 at KY 1EF1.
All right.
But no, I really I've been a long time listener of the show and I've always wanted to try and support the show. Check us out at the Shot Caller Show.
Appreciate that, Kyle. I'll
The
do the rest of it for you.
Yeah.
And then Robin, you got anything you want to plug before we go?
Yeah, y'all can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Robin Sahota. I gotta give me a shout out there real quick. No, but in all seriousness, like I remember when I first started working at Best Buy, and you were always walking around with your kicks on, whether they were whatever kicks you had on, and I was like, oh, he must like basketball. And you said you had a podcast early on, and ever since then, I kind of been checking it out here and there, and a big fan. So it's kind of an honor to get on here, talk
Hmm.
whatever I got to talk about.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
an honor for sure. I really enjoy talking with all you guys, having a discussion. I feel like uh, it's a good way to get your opinion out there.
And at the very least, all three of us are members of the Shot Callers Nation official fantasy
Hmm.
basketball league of our podcast. So we will keep you guys
Hmm.
updated on the standings. Right now, Robin and I are head to head, and we'll see who's going to come out winning this week. But we say all that to say this. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the show. If you guys want to drop us a line on Instagram, on Twitter, we are on Instagram at _shotcallers. We are on Twitter at shotcallershow. Please send us an email with any kind of listener question like the man Kyle used to do all the time at
Hmm.
shotcallarshow@gmail.com. That is shotcallershow@gmail.com. And if you guys are listening on Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever podcasts can be found, please leave us a rating and a review. We really appreciate it. It helps us grow the show and get to a wider audience. So for myself, for Kyle, for Robin, thank you guys for joining the show. We are signing off. We will see you guys next time.